The screen flickered, a sudden, blinding window into a chaos that felt impossibly close. It was 3 a.m., and the digital ghost Alara materialized, her eyes wide, glistening with an unsettling mix of exhaustion and a frantic, nervous energy. She wore a loose, gray college hoodie, but it did little to conceal the jagged, purple bruise blooming on the delicate curve of her neck, stark against her pale skin. Not one, two, a savage pair of hickeys, brazen and undeniable, on each side. The air left my lungs in a cold, searing rush. Alara, I choked out, the name tasting like ash. She flinched, instinctively pulling the collar higher, a fraction too late. That single unguarded moment, a flicker of guilt, a spark of calculation, was the first crack in the cathedral of my devotion. This wasn't a simple kiss. This was a brutal declaration. For months, she had been my anchor in my storm. Alara, the married mother trapped in a toxic, emotionally abusive marriage, was my cosmic twin, found in the unlikeliest corner of an RP forum. I, Alex, a man drowning in the stifling confines of family business and a hyper-religious upbringing, believed her. Every broken word about her monster of a husband, every tearful confession of needing to be held, not just heard, was a chisel carving away at my sanity. It's nothing, Alex. A scratch. I fell asleep with my necklace on, she whispered, her voice a brittle lie that shattered the silence. I was miles away, across states, and yet her infidelity felt closer than my own skin. My insecurity, the demon I tried to lock away, roared to life. She had just moved into her temporary freedom, the apartment provided by her church's outreach program. Her abusive ex-husband, a man she called a ghost because he would sneak around and surveil her, was due to fight for full custody. My terrifying realization was this: the man who left those marks, her colleague B, was not just a rebound. He was her prearranged lifeboat, the financial and physical safety net for the coming court battle. My unachievable mission was to find undeniable proof of her calculated plan to use me as an emotional shield while she secured her future with B, all before the ghost exposed her own infidelity in court, destroying her custody case and dragging me into the legal crossfire. The stakes were no longer just my heart. They were her children. It was B, Alex, she finally admitted, her voice flat, devoid of the passion she used to sell me her desperation. He was here. He helped me get out of my system. Helped her. The word was a razor. She was so casually cruel, so devoid of remorse that it chilled me to the bone. That night, she hung up, leaving me staring at a black screen. The ghosts of those purple marks burned into my retina. I knew then I wasn't her soulmate. I was her confessional booth and her plausible deniability. In the dead of night, an email from a disposable address lands in Alex's inbox. The subject line, "The ghost sees you." It's a single grainy screenshot of Alex's own social media profile, taken by an anonymous observer, an omen that the abusive ex-husband is now aware of his existence. The ominous email changed everything. The ghost wasn't just Alara's problem. He was now my shadow. I scrubbed my social media, but the damage was done. My family, staunch, conservative Christians, already disapproved of my online affair. Now, they were a vulnerability Alara's ex could exploit. This forced me into a chilling double life. Try and protect Alara from a man I'd never met, while simultaneously questioning every word she said. I needed proof she was genuine, or proof she was a sophisticated liar. Alara's defense was a tapestry of victimhood. She spoke of the panic attacks I soothed with her therapist's five senses method, of her need for constant reassurance, of her struggle to build a nursing career, to provide for her kids. It was all devastatingly true, and it made her manipulation all the more masterful. She knew I was her emotional fixer. She made me feel vital, taking me along on her morning routine, showing me the intimate vulnerability she claimed no one else saw. This intimacy was a chain. The introduction of a new Discord friend, R, was a calculated pinprick. We shared wine, she'd mention casually. I miss his face, she'd sigh, then immediately followed up with furious denial. You're the only one I want, Alex. This emotional whiplash was a classic tactic, designed to keep me tornily off balance. I was a safe harbor. R and B with exciting physical escapes. I began to realize the true purpose of the hickeys, to force a conversation about physical need, to push me to break up with her so she could claim to be the victim who was pushed away. I needed to gather intel, a digital alibi for her actions. I suggested she leave the server open while she worked, saying it would make me feel better, like I was part of her life, not an interrogation. This was my hidden play. It was then I heard her voice drop. "You're really cute when you're flustered," she purred to R, the low, hot tone reserved for our most intimate cam sessions. My blood ran cold. This wasn't the way she talks. This was a strategic weapon. I was being played for an audience of one, the ghost, in case he was monitoring her. While reviewing her video history, Alex spots a hidden item in the background of her new apartment, one of B's tools she previously mentioned. He zoom enhances a shot and spots a small, distinctive keychain she gave him last Christmas, a custom piece with their shared RP Guild logo on B's tool belt. The tool belt is hung right next to Alara's favorite jacket in her bedroom closet. This confirms immediate, intimate cohabitation I never suspected. The image of the tool belt was a punch to the gut. The customized keychain, a symbol of our digital life, now dangled next to her clothes, confirming that B was more than a friend. He was her domestic partner, her co-pilot in this new life. Alara had lied not just about the nature of their relationship, but about the very structure of her living arrangement. Every conversation about her career, her schooling, her stability for the kids, it was all being built on B's financial and physical support, while I provided the emotional scaffolding. My growing suspicions centered on her custody battle. I managed to find the public records of her divorce filing. The document stated she moved out 2 weeks before she told me. That meant she had already settled in with B before she even confessed to the hickeys. She had manufactured the entire timeline of events, including the need for physical touch, to strategically make her eventual breakup with me feel inevitable and my fault. Her soulmate was a scapegoat. I devised a risky test. During a video call where she was studying, I casually mentioned my family's church was running a background check on me for a potential new role in the family business. They're incredibly thorough, Alara. They'd even look at who I'm associated with. They might even try to find out if I'm involved with a homewrecker. I said, watching her face intensely. She froze. The laughter she was sharing with Art over text messages vanished. She became an ice statue. Her reply was a torrent of false concern. "Oh, Alex, you can't let me be the reason you lose everything. I told you, I can't handle a relationship now. You deserve someone who isn't a mess." It was a script of a selfless victim, but I heard the truth. She was breaking up with me not out of kindness, but to preemptively erase the evidence of my connection to her life before the ghost of my family could use it against her in court. In the panic of her sudden reaction, Alara accidentally leaves her laptop screen share on for a split second too long when closing a document. Alex is able to catch the title of the file. B's income/rent share agreement, a signed, legal-sounding document that proves their arrangement is professional and planned, not a spur-of-the-moment favor. The rent share agreement was the smoking gun. It validated my terrifying theory. Alara hadn't slipped into another relationship. She had engineered a domestic partnership with B, while maintaining a long-distance, emotional affair with me as a constant, reliable source of validation and a convenient excuse. I was the fool who subsidized her emotional well-being while B paid the rent and earned the right to leave marks on her neck. The final confrontation was inevitable. I had to force her hand, not as an angry boyfriend, but as a concerned co-conspirator. I called her during her study time, interrupting her chat with R, which was now escalating into open flirting. "Alara," I stated, my voice low and devoid of emotion, "the ghost is a private investigator. He knows about the move. He knows about me. And he's going to use the evidence of your infidelity to claim you're an unfit mother. You know my family won't let me lie for you in court." The effect was immediate. The composure shattered. "He can't. We're separated. He's just trying to control me," she shrieked, the panic genuine this time. "He can, Alara, but if you had a legal co-tenant, a male friend who was strictly platonic, The infidelity argument falls apart. You and B signed an agreement, didn't you? A legal one. Your lawyer can use that to protect your claim. But only if you tell me the truth. Is B your friend or your lover? Is our distraction or your next mistake? The silence was heavier than any confession. She stared at me, her eyes darting between my camera and something off-screen. It was a moment the actress dropped the script. "I'm sorry, Alex," she finally whispered, her voice devoid of the manipulative tears she usually produced. "I needed a way out. I needed B's help, and he needed me. And I needed you to keep reminding me that I was still a good person." Ilera suddenly breaks the connection. A minute later, Alex gets a text message. It's not from her, but from B. The message is only 3 words. "You saved her." B's text message, "You save her," was the most confounding piece of the puzzle. It wasn't a threat. It was gratitude. He wasn't the jealous, clandestine lover I had imagined. He was her co-conspirator in a necessary, pragmatic escape, and my intervention had just given them the legal narrative they needed to protect her custody case. The platonic, financial agreement. The hickeys were just collateral damage. A mistake made in a moment of shared, physical relief, not a sign of a love rival. "I called B." He answered immediately, his voice calm and serious. Ilera is a chaos magnet, Alex. She needed the drama of a long-distance soulmate to cope with what she was doing. She wasn't just lying to you. She was using you as a mirror to convince herself she was still capable of pure love while doing what she had to do to survive. He confirmed the truth, the agreement, the financial need, and the necessity of keeping the cohabitation quiet. The physical connection was a regrettable mistake, but he was committed to keeping the kids safe. He then offered a final, crushing truth. The ghost had been watching and recording her video calls, specifically waiting for a moment of open infidelity to use in court. My staged confession about the background check and the private investigator, forcing her to admit the platonic arrangement, had inadvertently sealed their cover. I hadn't been a victim. I had been a pawn who played the winning move. She hadn't broken up with me because I was too insecure. She had broken up with me because my connection was a dangerous noose and she needed to sever to protect her children. I finally found her, studying in the corner of a library, and called one last time. She didn't answer. I sent one final message. "I saw the agreement. Use the truth to protect your kids. I'm sorry I couldn't be your physical anchor, but I hope I was a good enough shield." I signed off from our RP chat, our Discord, and blocked her number, severing the last chaotic thread. This wasn't a clean break. It was a psychological amputation. I was free, but the soulmate I'd manufactured in my head was dead. 2 days later, a mysterious package arrives. Inside is the custom keychain with the guild logo, the one I saw on B's tool belt. Attached is a small, handwritten note from Ilera. "A shield, not a weapon. Thank you, Alex." The guild is replaced by a chilling sense of closure. Weeks turned into months. I immersed myself in the family business. The stability, a welcome antidote to the psychic carnage Ilera had left behind. The memory of the hickeys and the low, flirty voice was now just a lesson in high-stakes human deception. I had achieved the unachievable. I had found the truth, exposed the manipulation, and in doing so, had inadvertently helped secure Ilera's freedom, fulfilling my role as a shield in the most painful way possible. I didn't seek out news, but the digital world has a way of returning its echoes. A headline appeared on a local news site. "High-profile custody case. Judge denies father's claim of maternal unfitness, citing verified co-tenancy agreement." Ilera had won. Justice had been served, not by love, but by cold, hard, legal truth and the strategic sacrifice of my heart. The ghost was punished by having his predatory surveillance efforts backfire. The true sweet victory, however, was in the final realization. I was no longer insecure. My insecurity wasn't the cause of the relationship's failure. It was the fuel Ilera used to power her manipulation. By facing betrayal head-on and choosing the moral high ground, protecting her children over my own ego, I had silenced the demon. The relationship had burned me to ash, but the fire had forged an unshakable inner certainty. The final, bitter echo came months later. I saw a post on ours, old social media profile. A photo of him and Alara, arm in arm, smiling under the caption, "My new beginning." She finally accepted my help. See you later, Discord. She found her new life, a life where she no longer needed a shield or a scapegoat. I had cleared the path for her. I was the bridge she walked across. The pain was still there, a dull ache, but it was the ache of a necessary healing, of a bullet successfully removed. The soulmate was a phantom. The lesson was real,